Ready? Call tonight's meeting to order. Roll call, please.
Councilors Brown,
Here.
Costello,
Here.
Jameson,
Here.
Knutson,
Here.
Litz,
Here.
Staggers,
Present.
Anderson,
Here.
Benega.
Here. We have a quorum present. Tonight we'll be led in the invocation by Pastor Dave Thompson, Associate Pastor at Empire Baptist Temple here in Sioux Falls. After the invocation, we'll have the Pledge of Allegiance. So at this time, I'd ask everyone to please rise.
Lord God, on behalf of Sioux Falls, we ask your wisdom and understanding and your help and your guidance in all that's done tonight and all the decisions that's made. I pray you'd give our mayor and these members of the council wisdom and, Father, the ability to make the decisions that, Lord, would best suit our city in regards to you. And, Lord, you knowing in advance the best decisions, the welfare of the people of Sioux Falls. And, Lord, we just, again, beseech you tonight and ask for your help and guidance. In Jesus' name, amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Begin tonight with the consent agenda. Is there a motion to approve?
I so move Knutson.
Knutson, is there a second?
Second, Benninga.
Benega seconds. Further motions? Seeing none, all in favor of approving the consent agenda votes yes. Those opposed, no.
Councilors Brown,
Yes.
Costello.
Yes.
Jameson.
Yes.
Knutson.
Yes.
Litz.
Yes.
Staggers.
Yes.
Anderson.
Yes.
Benega.
Yes.
All members present have voted. The consent agenda has been approved 8-0. Is there a motion to approve the regular agenda?
So moved, Litz.
Litz moves. There's a second?
Second, Brown.
Brown seconds. Further motions? Seeing none, so all in favor of approving the regular agenda votes yes. Those opposed, no.
Councilors Brown,
Yes.
Costello.
Yes.
Jameson.
Yes.
Knutson.
Yes.
Litz.
Yes.
Staggers.
Yes.
Anderson.
Yes.
Benega.
Yes.
All members present have voted. The regular agenda has been approved 8-0. Now's the time that we set aside for public input. Anyone wishing to address the council for a period of 5 minutes, what we do is we ask you to come forward and give your name and your address. So anyone wishing to speak for 5 minutes, come forward at this time.
Rob Horak, 7113 South Hughes. I wanted to address the City Council and the Mayor. I'm the General Manager of MJ Ventures, which we include properties like the Library Bar, Neighborhood Bar, Tommy Jack's, DJ's, the Uppercut, and the Red Eye. And concerning our outdoor events, I personally take our outdoor events very seriously and to meet with whatever the City Council deems appropriate. So we have a checklist that we follow, including proper restrooms, cleanup, control of alcohol to go off premise, lighting, seating, underage. We do that by working with Sioux Falls police officers on off duty. All of our staff is required to have a TAM certification, which is Techniques of Alcohol Management, and then have proper staffing for the events. With that said, our last at the library, I heard something got escalated to the mayor. I since then contacted the building manager at Lexington, Carmen, and she said it was a matter of 2 tenants that did have a problem with that. So with that information, and she said it was a good thing for the neighborhood. So because there's only a few outdoor events, such as Jazz Fest, downtown events, but in our neighborhood there's not that many. So to go forward and to deem what is appropriate for City Council and the mayor, we're going to work with the building manager and pass out flyers to all the residents and let people know the dates and times. And then with that, we just ask the City Council grant us a little bit of leeway with the time ending at 10:30 when downtown events and other events end at 11:30. It's a little bit hard to end a nighttime music event at that time. So when we petition for our next sound ordinance, I would like to be considered and know that I'm willing to work with whatever is required, especially by City Council and the neighborhood or the mayor. Thank you.
Make sure that you talk to Judy Boozman down at the Health Department, and she can work with you on that. So We appreciate you coming very much. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Others that wish to address the council for 5 minutes, name and address, please. Seeing no one is coming forward, then we will move into the regular agenda with item number 15.
New 2008-2009 retail malt beverage license for Jan Wood Crystal Ice Concessions to be operated at Harmadon Park, 5727 through 5729 East 41st Street. City administered contract, CUP not required. Item 16, transfer of a 2009 retail wine license from MKSF Incorporated, Stubby's Bar and Grill, 5024 South Cliff Avenue, to Big 19 Incorporated, Stubby's Bar and Grill, to be operated at 5024 South Cliff Avenue, full-service restaurant, CUP not required. Item 17, transfer of a 2008-2009 retail malt beverage license from MKSF Inc., Stubby's Bar and Grill, 5024 South Cliff Avenue, to Big 19 Inc., Stubby's Bar and Grill, to be operated at 5024 South Cliff Avenue, full-service restaurant, CUP not required. Item 18, transfer of a 2009 packaged liquor license from East West Ventures LLC, Four Hills Express, 2800 East Marson Drive, to Bauer Enterprises LLC, Four Hills Pump and Pack, to be operated at 2800 East Marson Drive. Item 19, special one-day liquor license request for Great Bear Recreation Park Incorporated, Great Bear Recreation Park, to be operated at 5901 East Rice Street on June 20th, July 18th, September 5th, and September 12th, 2009 for wedding receptions. Item 20, special one-day malt beverage and special one-day wine licenses for downtown Sioux Falls for the Automania pre-event reception on June 16th, 2009, changing the location from Phillips and Main Avenues from 9th to 14th Street to Hummer of Sioux Falls, 4410 West 12th Street. Item 21, various retail malt beverage, packaged malt beverage, and packaged malt beverage South Dakota Farm Winery license renewals for 2009 through 10 to be operated at various locations in the city of Sioux Falls, South Dakota, identified as Exhibit B.
It will be noted that Councilmember Costello will be excused from the following items. Go
Okay,
ahead, Lori.
thank you, Denise. Lori Hogstead with the City Attorney's Office, here for items 15 through 21. And I thought possibly we could cover items 15 through 20 first, and then go over the different stipulations, et cetera, on the renewals. So any questions on 15 through 20?
Yes, Lori, the Harmadon Park, it's owned by the city of Sioux Falls. It's a softball complex.
Correct.
This concession here for retail malt beverage license, anytime there's a game there, will they be able to sell malt beverages, or is it just certain events, or?
I believe we have a representative. Do we have Park Department here tonight?
Dave.
Okay.
Dave Fisher, good. I thought I saw Dave. Dave can answer that for you.
Good evening, Dave Fisher, Assistant Director, Parks and Recreation. In the contract with our concessionaire, Kermit,
Yes.
They can sell malt beverages only during adult games, adult events on the softball side of the park.
Okay, thank you.
Further questions on Lori on items 15 through 20?
Move to approve. Brown.
Okay. Vernon Brown made a motion to approve.
Second, Anderson.
Anderson seconds. Further comments? All in favor of approving items 15 through 20 will vote yes. Those opposed, no.
Councilors Brown,
Yes.
Jamison,
Yes.
Knutson,
Yes.
Litz,
Yes.
Staggers,
Yes.
Anderson,
Yes.
Benega.
Yes.
All members present have voted 7 yes, 1 excused. Items 15 through 20 have been approved. Item 21, then.
All right, items 21 is Exhibit B, which is our list of retail malt beverage, packaged malt beverage, and packaged farm winery licenses. This is the second exhibit, and we will have one more in 2 weeks for the last few that we have out there. First of all, I'm going to go through those that have stipulations, so we'll start with those. Under the retail malt beverage list for CY Heritage Inn of Sioux Falls, Inc., for the Sioux Falls Residence Inn, 4509 West Empire Place, pending corrections per fire. Chances, Inc., for Hole in the Wall at 1504 West Russell, also pending corrections per fire. Coco Palace LLC for the Coco Palace, 2530 South Louise, pending corrections per fire. Dakota Lodging and Entertainment LLC for the Quality Inn and Suites, 5410 North Granite Lane, pending corrections per fire. Dynasty Inc. for the Dynasty Chinese and Vietnamese Cuisine, 5326 West 26th Street, also pending corrections. Annie Gaspar for Bustagut Productions, 3224 East 10th Street. This would be pending final inspections per Fire, Health, and Building Services. Imperial Garden LLC for the Imperial Garden, 5318 East Arrowhead Parkway, also pending final inspections per Fire, Health, and Building Services. New China Star Inc. for the China Star, 1721 West 41st Street, pending corrections per fire. And we have Tokyo Japanese Cuisine LLC for the Tokyo Japanese Cuisine, 4825 South Louise, also pending corrections per fire. All right. Then if we go back to the list, we also have a renewal for Mulugeta and Marta Endahayu. This is for the Lalabella Restaurant at 1001 West 11th Street. We do have a citizen tonight that would like to address you on this item, and that would be Mary Kramer. So, Mary?
Mary Kramer, 1008 West 11th Street. And I appreciate the fact that I informed you all of what's going on. And I would think after 4 years of coming to you and asking, we really have to stop having a bar across the street from my house. And I don't want to know. Lori and the city people I've talked to kind of assured me that once a bar is okay to run, I don't have a lot of options, so I figured if we did not renew their malt beverage license, maybe they wouldn't have a bar because nobody'd want to go, because I'm kind of under the assumption that I don't have a lot of options on closing a business that's been approved as a business. So I want help from you people. Ask me questions.
Okay. Questions, Mary? Go ahead.
Yeah, Mary, one of your complaints, of course, has been all the noise that goes on there. Has the city been out there to verify that they're violating city ordinance dealing with the sound and so forth? They're not.
Okay, in honesty, when you call the police, they drive through the lot, probably say to the people out there, keep it down. By the time a police officer goes out on Menlo and gets back to the railroad tracks, the same issues there. I sat outside the other night with a friend on the front porch from 10 to 5 after 12, and 17 squad cars. Well, okay, 17 times they drove by. The big issue probably is not that they're not doing anything, I would think, totally illegal. I mean, if you go, and I'm going to use the reference to Borrowed Bucks because I've been all over town, and there's not a single bar that's loud that has houses across the street. I've been everywhere I can find within. And because you're so close, everything that goes on travels right across the street. But bars are bars. People come, go. They crank up their stereos. They yell, scream, where you go, and they peel tires. They're drunk. They're stupid. I mean, the only reference I have is if you put my house in Shields parking lot. And I lived in the back of Shields parking lot, and I listened for everything that happened to Borrowed Bucks. I mean, they're not probably doing anything illegal. It's the fact that once you allowed them to stay open till 10 o'clock, they closed every night at 10. There was never an issue. It was a nice restaurant. I still don't have an issue with the restaurant. People are there at lunchtime. They're there at supper time. Their families, their kids. At about 9:30, I mean, it's the whole, and they're not, like I said, it's a real young crowd, and the only thing I compare it to is jams. You've got kids, souped-up cars with the lights underneath it, stereos blaring, outside talking, and like I tried to explain to Lori when I talked to her, winter's over, my bedroom windows are going to open. That's like, yeah. And I would say any one of you that wants to come sit in my driveway between 10 and 2 a.m. on a Friday or Saturday night, I would love you to do it. But I can't think of, like I said, illegal things that they do different than any other bar. No, it's just that we have houses across the street and all that noise just is like constant. And their stereo system is like, and I was a Pompano girl, so I understand stereo systems. But I mean, my house windows, you can just feel it. It's the bass is so, that just vibrates. And if you go over there and ask them to turn it down, I just get comments on like, what's your problem? I said, I live in that house right there. I want to go to sleep. It goes down for 10 minutes. And like I said, I kind of under the assumption that once you drop the conditions of their use permit, which I'm going to be honest, I've talked to all my neighbors, no one ever heard a thing about it. I kind of felt dumb with my threats that I'm going to go to the city council and tell me you're in violation. And he's probably laughing at me thinking, well, we don't have any conditions, we can do anything we want.
Okay. Mary, thank you for being here this evening. Earlier today, I read the letter that you sent, all of us and so forth, and I guess I'd just like to say, I am listening carefully. I have not heard from any of your neighbors at all on this issue, and I have not been in Lalabellas for a while myself, and one of these days soon I'll just stop by, just unexpectedly, and because I have been in there several times before.
Do it at 1 in the morning.
That's fine. I'll do it sometime late when I'm up. But anyway, but I guess from a legal standpoint, just speaking for myself and not the entire council, of course, is that, again, I think, the business is there, and like, you yourself are saying, you don't think they're doing anything illegal. And so from a legal standpoint, I don't feel like that I have any authority to, discriminate against that restaurant bar, and of course I do agree with bars. There's always a little bit extra noise, and somewhere's a little bit more. But I'm just saying I don't feel like personally, as a counselor, I have any authority to.
But as a city council, when they came to you and said they wanted to stay open and run a bar on weekends, and I remember the conversation standing here because the man from the Multicultural Center came and helped, and they're very nice people. Nothing against the people at all. It's quite obvious from where they started with, I want to run a restaurant and we want to turn it into a bar because our people want to celebrate life. That all started out all well and good. It was not allowed to start with. The clientele has gone from what they approached you to ask for and what they have turned into is totally different. Like I said, a bunch of 20-year-olds partying in the bars, probably not an issue. The girls inform me like, okay, issues. There's glass broke all over outside. It's been almost 3 weeks now. It has not been cleaned up. Then you call the health department and say you have litter. What was another thing? Different, okay, every time there's noise. Well, I'm sorry, but if I call, the dispatcher's going to know me in, 4 weeks? Oh, it's that lady on 1008 West 11th Street again. As far as the neighborhood, I was kind of told that this was an informational meeting, that you people really need to be aware of it. All my neighbors that I've talked to said that when they want me to come down to, this wasn't the meeting to bring a neighborhood. It was a meeting to let you people know that there's still a really bad issue across the street. But I would think they, in some ways, weren't they in violation of coming to you and saying all the conditions should have been dropped last year and none of us were ever told, because we'd have been here fighting it then. And once you drop the conditions, you can't recondition or something?
Mr. Mayor? Let's go with Bob, and then we'll come back to you guys.
This is for Lori here. It's, Mary, I have your letter here as well, and I've been looking at it tonight here. In this here, she said the stipulations that we put on this place 2 years ago, when the renewal came up last year, did indeed the stipulations we put on the conditional use permit go away?
The stipulations for the conditional use permit, Mike Cooper could address that. We don't cover that during renewal time. They're just ongoing stipulations. We don't review those with each renewal every year because there's so many.
So they should still be in place.
Yes,
is what
they're
I'm
still
getting
in
at.
place. But they did amend Mike should probably address this, but they did amend the conditional use permit to change the stipulations. And that's what this is what Mary's referring to, is the change in the conditional use permit.
Well, I'd be interested in finding out what those are.
Mike Cooper, Planning and Building Services. We had put together kind of a timeline of history on this site, since I know that there was a lot of discussion at the council and planning commission in previous years, and we were anticipating tonight that this would come up again. This goes back to 2003, when there was the original conditional use permit was approved for Lalabellas. As an accessory use to a restaurant, we were allowing the sale of alcohol. And after 2003, when the conditional use was approved, we began to get complaints about concerns from the neighborhood and violations of the conditional use permit. And so we started a revocation process that went through the Planning Commission and came to the City Council. And in October of 2006, the City Council decided not to revocate the conditional use permit, but rather to change some of the stipulations and look at limited hours of operation and so forth, to try it out and see if the neighborhood and the bar operator could come to terms and make it a use that was acceptable to the neighborhood. And so then in working with the petitioner, the owner indicated that even with those extended hours, it was still difficult for him to make a living, and the business was going away. And so then we started back with the Planning Commission to revise the conditional use permit so that it was not required to be a restaurant as an accessory. I should say the bar was no longer required to be an accessory use to the restaurant. And so then we also, through the Planning Commission, set up conditions on hours of operation, and that there would be an ongoing review process of 3 months and 6 months. The 3-month review occurred in February of 2007, and based on the review at that time, there were not any neighborhood issues or concerns. And then the 6-month review occurred in July of 2007. And again, at that time, there had been no police calls the previous 6 months, and it seemed that the operation was working out with the neighborhood. So at that public hearing, it was indicated by the Planning Commission that they would be open to, again, amending the conditional use permit to change the stipulations. And that occurred in August of 2007. And at that time, the stipulations were changed so that the hours of operation are based on state law for a beer license. Food service has to be available during the hours of operation. A security management plan had to be updated on an annual basis with the crime prevention officer, and that customers under the age of 21 would not be allowed within the establishment after 11 o'clock p.m. So that's what happened in August of 2007. And then last year at this time, the City Council would have approved the renewal of their license. And of course, at that time, I don't believe we had any discussion about the operation until just recently with the neighborhood concerns. So we've kind of gone around where we were very restrictive, and then we let up on those restrictions because we thought that the applicant could work with the neighborhood. And now tonight we're hearing that there's some neighborhood issues that are occurring again.
Over here.
Lori, did you have someone from the police department here to talk about the calls?
No, but they did send over
I have that.
that list, yes.
Okay.
Yeah, with the 4 calls in 2009.
Thank you.
Further questions?
From the information that you sent me this afternoon, Lori, on police calls, it looks like we've had 20 since June of last year at that location. Mostly fight disturbance, disorderly conduct. This is a business that I'm very well familiar with also. I'm sure you know. I'm going to strongly advise that I'd like to see us defer this so that we could speak to the police department about this and see if we still need to continue working with the management in this business. Number one thing is they're inside a neighborhood, and that's one problem. The other problem is their outside security is very insufficient from what I've seen. And I've gone over there just the last couple weekends also, and it's gotten back to the point that it was in, I would say, 2004, where we had a lot of disturbances, fights, actually one that was filled up the entire block on the side of the building that I observed. So I've got a lot of problems with this right now, this petition, and I'd strongly urge the council to defer this so that we can do more investigating on it.
You want to make a motion?
I move that we defer this.
To what time frame?
2 weeks? Well, we have 2 weeks left for the renewals. So, do you want to schedule it for 2 weeks from today? 2 weeks from
Let's look at
tonight?
2 weeks from tonight.
That would be June 15th.
15th, yeah.
Got a second, let's.
Seconded. Motion is to defer the item to the 15th of June. Further comments on that motion? Not all in favor of deferral? Vote yes. Those opposed, no.
Council members Brown,
Yes.
Jameson,
Yes.
Knutson,
Yes.
Litz,
Yes.
Staggers,
Yes.
Anderson,
Yes.
Benega.
Yes.
That motion has prevailed. That item will be deferred for 2 weeks. Go ahead. Anything
Okay,
else?
and then the last item that we have to cover we had the list of underage sales in the past 12 months, and we should have representatives here from each of the businesses. And briefly, we have Casey's Retail Company for Casey's General Store at 1705 West Burnside. Their 5-year history shows the one underage sale in 2008. We have Come and Go for their store at 7100 West 41st Street, and there was one in '06 and again one in '08. We have Olson Oil Company for Get and Go number 8 at 2217 East 10th, one in '06, one in '08, and then also the Get and Go number 12 at 1224 East 57th, also in 2008. Pilot Travel Centers, 5301 North Cliff, 2006, as well as 2008. Under Package Farm Wineries, we have the Flying J at 5201 North Granite Lane, one in '06, '07, and '08. And then Freedom Value Centers for the Erickson Store at 1601 South Minnesota Avenue, and that was one in 2008. Management plans were routed to you for review, and they were reviewed by the Police Department, Officer Schmidt. If you have questions of these applicants, they are here and present and willing to answer questions.
Yeah, Lori, I just have a quick question for you.
Okay.
I think we had about 7 of these applicants pending correction per fire. Is there any common element among all those?
Well, you know what that is every year when we do renewals, the fire department, the health department, and building services reviews the list. And this is just a very good time for the fire department to get corrections made that they've maybe talked to them about previously. And so this just is a little friendly reminder that they need to get these done by June 30th.
Okay.
And it does help.
Lori, I'd be interested, excuse me, I'm sorry. I'd be interested in hearing from CFJ Properties because they've had 3 convictions in the last 3 years.
Right, 3 within 30 months.
I would like to hear
Okay.
from management about that.
All right, and they did not call in with their representative. Is there a representative from Flying J here? Oh, that's not good.
You wanna-
I would like,
We can defer that one since they're not here.
my recommendation would be that we approve the rest, but postpone that one for 2 weeks also, to hear from management on the issues that we see on our records.
Second,
The
let's.
motion is to defer that to June 15th.
Please.
First by Jason.
I'll second that motion, Knutson.
Second. Further comments on the motion to defer that?
Yeah, I got a question for Lori about that. 2008, when was their conviction?
Well, I have the date of the actual underage sale was September 30 of 2008. In '07, it was 10/31. In '06, it was 3/21. And also, the state law does allow for a license to be, shut down, suspended for a couple weeks. However, that's if they have 3 within 24 months. These were 3 within 30 months. So they just made it over that requirement to close the business down briefly.
Got a motion before us to defer the Flying J until June 15th. Motion made by Benega, second by Knutson. Further comments on that motion? All in favor? Vote aye. Those opposed? Nay? Yes? No?
Council members Brown,
Yes.
Jamison,
Yes.
Knutson,
Yes.
Litz.
Yes.
Staggers.
Yes.
Anderson. Anderson. Benega.
Yes.
That motion has been approved, 6 yes and 2 excused. Further? Lori, anything else? Any
That's
other
it.
questions? Lori, on item 21.
I would like to make approval for item 21
Okay, motion to approve item 21 with the 2 deferrals.
with the amendment.
With the 2 deferrals. Second?
Second,
Let's second it. Further comments on the motion to approve item 21 with the 2 deferrals? All in favor to defer, or to pass with the deferrals will vote yes. Those opposed, no.
Councilors Brown,
Yes.
Jamison,
Yes.
Knutson,
Yes.
Litz.
Yes.
Staggers.
Yes.
Anderson. Benega.
Yes.
All members present have voted. Item 21 has been approved, 6 yes, 2 excused, with 2 deferrals. Let's go to 22.
Second reading, an ordinance of the City of Sioux Falls, South Dakota, rezoning property at southeast corner of South-Southeastern Avenue and East 41st Street, petition number 2009-0404, and amending the official zoning map of the City of Sioux Falls. The Planning Commission recommends denial.
Again, Mike Cooper, Planning and Building Services. We have a number of recommendations tonight for second reading from the last City Planning Commission meeting. This item is a petition by Ronning Commercial to change the zoning of their existing development at Southeastern and Marson Drive, the Four Hills Plaza. This is an existing commercial convenience store and gas station and a retail center that has been zoned as a planned development district for about 15 years. And the history of this is interesting to go back and look at. This entire development at one time was proposed to be not only a retail center and gas station, but also a grocery store to the north. And of course, now we have the wellness center that developed. At the time that this was originally proposed, there was still a fairly new residential development area. And so as part of the approval 15 years ago to the planned development district, there were a number of conditions placed on that at the time by the Planning Commission. And essentially, there were lighting and signage and building design standards that needed to be followed. And then any changes to that would have to come back to the Planning Commission. Well, now that it's been 15 years ago, it's basically built out, it's developed. And as we've done many times in the past, when a planned development is essentially built out, it's very typical that we would come back and rezone it to the more conventional zoning designation. And in this case, the owner would like it to be changed from a planned development to a C4 commercial, which is typically what we would see in an area like this. During the discussion at the Planning Commission, of course, there were differences of opinion about if there's changes to the signage or lighting or building, that it still should come back to the Planning Commission, while others on the Planning Commission felt comfortable that with the current ordinances that we have, that any changes would be able to comply with those ordinances. So that's, I think, a real summary of the difference as far as opinion by the Planning Commission. The staff had recommended approval of the rezoning because, again, it's very consistent with the other changes that we've done to planned developments once they're built out. If you remember, we did one at 57th and Cliff of that commercial development. At the Planning Commission, I don't recall that we had any neighborhood testimony on the changes. And I know that we've taken some calls from neighbors since then, essentially asking about what's going to happen in the future. And we do have a representative here tonight of the owner, if you have any questions for them. that concludes our report.
Go ahead.
Mike, since there was a split vote on the denial, what was the main reason?
I would say that the planning commissioners that voted against the rezoning felt that any changes to the building or signage should still come back to the planning commission like it was stipulated 15 years ago. And the ones that voted for the rezoning felt comfortable that any applicant could work within the current ordinances and still be compatible with the neighborhood.
Excuse me, I'd like to ask another question on that, too. And they've been a pretty good neighbor over there, haven't they?
Yeah, it's been a very good neighbor. To be honest, the gas station has struggled over the years. And if you've driven by there, you'll notice that the building backs up to Southeastern Avenue, which is a concept that we thought was kind of an interesting idea back in 1994. And today, we would probably not do it that way. But it's hard to pick up an existing gas station and flip it around. So I think the current operator within that tenant space is really doing a good job, and I think it's being very well received by the neighborhood.
Go ahead, Pat.
Mike, in the planned development districts, aren't they further designated? I mean, was this designated C4 within the planned development district?
Yes.
So we're essentially just getting rid of the planned development district.
That's correct. Mm-hmm.
And this is, I think you alluded to or said that this is what we would normally see in this piece of property?
Yes,
if
that's
it hadn't
correct.
been a large piece of a larger development?
Right.
Well, actually, that whole plaza is very close to my home, so I'm very familiar with that area, and I have absolutely no problems with the rezoning. But would you just remind me, so what is the, since it's been there for 15 years, and I've lived right beside it, or near, very close with, not right beside it, close for 15 years, so what again is the advantage of it being rezoned to the owners? What's the advantage?
By changing the zoning from a planned development to a straight conventional C4 commercial, it just eliminates all these stipulations that were put on it 15 years ago.
Okay.
And then they would still be working within our current ordinances.
I guess for all practical purposes, it acts like a commercial property. It has been commercial property for 15 years. It's been developed. It's almost completely failed, if you will, in the location that it's at. I see no reason for us not to approve this and move forward.
Others?
I'm sorry, I'm a neighbor. May I address?
Well, we'll get to you, please. Just wait. Other questions of Mike? Not. Go ahead, Greg.
Mike, do you have a proposed sign plan on how they may change some of their signage?
No, but we've been talking to the applicant about ideas under the C4 signage requirements. So we would be looking at, in the future, whatever they would be proposing would have to comply with our sign ordinance.
Is there much room for development? I mean, aren't they going to, what would they add signs for? What other signs would they?
I think right now, when you drive by the convenience store, what you see is the Four Hills Plaza sign, which is north of the driveway.
So they might try to help that gas station survive a little better,
Right,
with some bigger signage.
That's what we've been having as far as some preliminary discussions.
Further questions, Pat?
Was that some of the restrictions that were in the planned development?
Yeah, the current plan development says that, and again, this is 1994, freestanding signage and sizes shall be limited to the plans and locations as presented, which was back then. And then any proposed changes to signage or to the structures or to building height will require approval by the Planning Commission.
Further questions of Mike? Okay, others that wish to address the council on item number 22, we just ask that you give your name and your address, please.
Hello, I'm Cleon Lystra. I live at 3813 South Chris, which is right in this area. I have talked to some of the neighbors, and we are concerned because, first of all, we bought our home there 13 years ago, and at that time we were assured the neighborhood would remain as it is. And when the gentleman said they're thinking of something like 57th and Cliff, If you're familiar with that, you know there's a lot more of a commercial presence there as far as signage and that kind of thing. When I called today and inquired about this at the, it was the Planning Commission office, they said, well, this would allow them to have at least one more 24-foot sign, and that would just be one change. And right now, it fits in very nicely with the neighborhood if you've driven by there. It's a nice brick building as far as the gas station is concerned, and it fits in well. It does not have that commercial look to it, and I think that's one of the things that the people who live there like. And so it doesn't look like a 57th and Cliff gas station. I doubt that that's the reason why the gas station hasn't been successful, is because of lack of signage. There may be other reasons. But I'd like you to realize that the neighbors much prefer to have this the way it is today as compared to being allowed to have large signs and whatever else might result. Thank you.
Questions?
Anyone?
Not a question, just a comment. Again, I don't live as close as you do there, but you know, a few minutes further away. But I just haven't heard from any of the neighbors, and so I hadn't heard from anyone about this.
Well, that's probably because, as you know, most people don't pay a lot of attention to the zoning changes sign. In fact, there were two signs on the one corner of Marson and Chris, which is a residential street there with not that many homes on it, and one of the signs had blown off of the stake, so I walked over there and I picked up the sign to see what it said. I saw the meeting was tonight, so then I called and said, what does this, you know, actually involve? And then I did talk to some neighbors and said, well, how do you feel about this? And the feedback that I got was, well, when we purchased our home here, we were assured the area would remain as it is. And so since we don't know exactly what the change would be from having the Planning Commission in charge to just changing the zoning to commercial, I guess we're saying, let's leave it as it is, as the neighborhood. Thank you.
Ma'am? Yes. Could you tell us whereabouts you live? I'm not sure where Chris is.
Okay, we live, Chris, you see where the, I'm sorry.
It's behind it.
Okay, this is a church here, is it not? Where's the church? The Southern Methodist. Right here? Here. Okay, we are this house right here. And so this short block is Chris. So this is our neighborhood, this street right here is where we live. Okay?
Further questions?
Anyone else?
Actually, just a question for the applicant, what, if any, changes are planned for that area?
Okay, thank you.
My name is Chuck Point. I work for Ronning Enterprises and the applicant. My address is 4401 East 6th Street, and I'll be happy to answer all your questions. I think Mike has provided a good summary of the history of this development, and I think a couple of the very important things are this. We were convinced of two bad decisions. One, not to put the strip mall and the convenience store at 41st and Southeastern, and instead to put them at Southeastern and Marson, and the other one to face the convenience store essentially backwards on the site. Now, those are all nice things, and the first operator of the store, which was Brad Dyer of Midwest Oil, operated the store for about 12 to 12 and a half years fairly successfully. The convenience store business at that time was substantially different than it is today in terms of competition and what gas sells for and what other parts of the store are. We have all lived in Sioux Falls, and we've seen what's happened to convenience stores in our town. They've become bigger and shinier. The most recent one built in this neighborhood is at 41st and Sycamore, and it's probably 3 times as big as this store. And this is truly a small neighborhood store. And in order to be successful, it really needs the support of the neighborhood and the traffic that goes by on Southeastern. We have spent the last probably 6 months as the owner of the real estate, not the business, in researching what we could do to make the business be successful. And with me here tonight are Chris Ronning of our company. His dad, Slate Ronning, wanted to be with us here tonight, but was prevented by a death in the family from being here. And Becky Bauer, her husband and her, Dan Bauer, are the current owners of the business. We are so proud of what they have done. And I don't know if any of you have been in the business since they opened it on May 8th. But I have, and I've taken my 11-year-old daughter there, and quite honestly, I wouldn't take her to just any convenience store, but I'm very comfortable taking her there now. Becky cleaned the store herself and painted it. And again, I encourage you to go there and look. It is truly something that we are proud of in our neighborhood, as we own the surrounding area. We own all the apartments to the south of there, and we get a lot of input about our neighborhoods. And I can tell you, I've had a couple phone calls of people asking me about this, but they were curious only what was going to happen, and nobody voiced any concerns about it other than the woman that's here tonight that lives on Chris Drive, who from her property will not be able to see any of the changes that we're going to make. The only change that we are proposing is simply that the owner be allowed to put up the same kind of sign that every convenience store operator in any C4 area be allowed to put up. And that will be on the Southeastern Drive side. It will not be, the building itself will block it from view of anybody to the east of there and pretty much to the south. So they won't be able to see this change. And the reason for it is just very simply that we were convinced in 1994 to build this building where it is. And as Mike said, no matter how bad we'd like to go out there and turn it around so that it faces Southeastern, we have not found a feasible way to do that. If the store fails, the neighborhood will not have a convenience store. And some people who, I have spent quite a bit of time in the store since it reopened on May 8th, and everybody that's walked in and seen me said, Chuck, the store is so nice. We are so happy that it's reopened. And we want this store in our neighborhood. But for those of you that are in business, I ask you, how long can you operate a business that doesn't make money? And I would guess that for most of you, the answer is not very long. And so we're here tonight to ask you for this approval. We don't think it's unreasonable in any way. We have the department's recommendation. We have been to the Planning Commission. There was a split vote. There was nobody from the neighborhood at that meeting. There is one person here tonight asking you, I'm not sure exactly what they're asking you for, but we are here to ask you, as the developer of this whole neighborhood, from all the way from Tut Hill all the way to Sycamore Avenue, that have spent a lot of time and are still spending time developing this area, we need your help to make this approval so that this store can operate successfully and within the bounds of its neighborhood. And I'll answer any questions that you have.
Questions? Go ahead.
Chuck, maybe either yourself or the owners can answer this. What's the general hours of operation of most of the businesses in that little strip mall there?
In the strip mall itself, which is the L-shaped area, most of the businesses open up at 8 o'clock and close at 5 o'clock. Now, there are some exceptions to that, Councilman. There are the veterinarian sometimes, which is on the southwest corner, opens up sometimes as early as 7 o'clock, but again, they're normally closed by 5:30 or 6 o'clock. They do have employees that come and walk dogs and cats, let them out, and because they have to do that, but they're closed. There's one other business clear on the other end that I was by the other day. They were open as early as 7:30. Most of the other businesses are open from 8 o'clock to 5 o'clock. There is a chiropractic doctor in the plaza, and I'm sure that they do some evening and maybe Saturday morning appointments, but we've never, ever had a complaint against any of those businesses. The convenience stores' hours, I believe, Becky, are from 6 till 11. And again, in all the years that we've operated, the convenience store has been operated, I can't remember ever having a complaint against it, Councilman. And we've had, the Bowers will be the 4th operator, and we believe to be the very most neighborhood-friendly operator of the 4.
And you don't leave any lights on after you're done? You close, you turn off everything, right? As far as when I've gone by there, I've seen everything off, so I just want to, okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Greg?
Chuck, could you point on the screen kind of where that sign might be? Or have Steve do it for you on the computer?
I'm not sure what it is. I'm not doing it right. I broke it.
Maybe just use the computer there and point at it. Let Steve do it.
Am I pointing the right? I'm sorry, my hand can't hold it too steady. Can you see Greg where I'm pointing to? There, now Steve's got it marked.
Okay, so to be a little further off the corner than just right on the corner.
Yeah, again, it would be shielded by the building. There is a sign there now. It is a monument sign. And then there's another sign for the plaza that's up on the other side of the driveway. It won't be any taller or any more obtrusive than that sign. And again, we've never had a complaint against it. All we're looking for is to let people on Southeastern Drive. The biggest complaint against this store, contrary to what this nice woman has said earlier, is that people don't know it's there. I've lived in this neighborhood for 21 years. I lived just for most of that time, 17 years on Benjamin Drive. But again, what most people tell us is, those of us who've lived in the neighborhood know that the store is there. But those people that are new, that are driving by on Southeastern, quite honestly, this is the stealthiest store in Sioux Falls. People do not know it's there. You know, and all we need is a chance. That's all we're asking for.
Pat?
Mike, could you just run us through the zoning that surrounds that? Like, what would the fitness center be zoned? And
Yeah, the property to the west across Southeastern is residential, single family. To the southwest is Lion Centennial Park. To the north is a detention area, and then there's townhomes to the north of that. To the east is single family with some twin homes, as well as to the southeast. And then to the south is multifamily residential, bank, and library. As you go down to 49th.
But what would the zoning be for like the fitness center? What would that be zoned?
That's part of the. It's office, which allows the wellness center to the north. And again, that back in '94, that was going to be a grocery store. And we also required at that time the developer to put a landscape berm along the east side of their development. So there was a lot of effort at the time to help buffer the neighborhood. Go ahead, Joe.
Chuck, if I could just follow up on your comments. My understanding is the only thing that's changing in this whole development is you're adding a sign, and how high is that sign going to be?
Councilman, well, we're not adding a sign. We're replacing a sign. There is a sign there that's a monument sign. It's gone right now, but you know where it was because you live in the neighborhood. And in its
I didn't
place,
hit it either.
Yeah, yeah. And in its place, a sign which We have been in discussion with the department. They provided us with ideas. We took them to the sign supplier. They said, yes, we can do things like that. We're willing to do it. We have agreed that is what would be done. It would be a more decorative sign with a brick planter at the bottom. We're willing to work with the department. We have expressed our cooperation with all the things that they said. So it would be a sign, and I believe it was, the limit there is 20 feet. And it would have below the sign that would say Clark Fort Hills Pump and Pack would be a small Daktronics color sign. And one of the reasons for this is that these Daktronics signs, which everyone believes is necessary to compete in business these days. I don't like it, but it's true. My boss is about to spend, with your approval, $20,000 on it. But people that do this say you can't put them on the ground. If you do, teenagers will destroy your $20,000 sign. And so we need to get it up off the ground so it's safe. And we need to tell people that are driving by on Southeastern Drive that we're there. And again, all we're asking for is a chance to be successful so we can pay our taxes.
So the sign is going to be 20 feet high?
It'll be very close to that, Council.
Thank you.
Further questions? Others that wish to address the council on item number 22? Not? See no one come forward. Is there a motion?
I would like to make a motion to approve item number 22, Knutson.
Knutson moves. Is there a second?
Second, let's.
Let's second. Further comments on the motion to approve? Go ahead.
You know, I travel down Southeastern quite frequently and on the way to the ballpark or the fitness center or what have you, and I agree. I mean, you wouldn't know that was a convenience store if you weren't looking for it specifically. So I can certainly identify with the need for additional signage. I am, however, would be concerned if the neighbors directly across the street were particularly concerned about what was happening here, and having not heard from them, I would think they would be the people that would be most impacted, if impacted at all. I would encourage support of it from the standpoint that, you know, it is hard to see, and I've seen it frequently, and it is hard to see.
Okay, we got a motion been made and seconded. Further comments? Seeing none, all in favor of the motion to approve item 22 will vote yes. Those opposed, no.
Councilors Brown?
Yes.
Costello?
Yes.
Jameson?
Yes.
Knutson?
Yes.
Litz?
Yes.
Staggers?
Yes.
Anderson?
Yes.
Benega?
Yes.
All members present have voted. Item 22 has been approved. 8 yes. Item 23.
Second reading, an ordinance of the City of Sioux Falls, South Dakota, amending the revised ordinances of the city by revising location of accessory buildings. The Planning Commission recommends approval.
This is an ordinance text change that was initiated by city staff just to help clarify the intent of our ordinance that requires detached accessory buildings not to be located any closer than 10 feet to a main building. And if they do, then they have to provide the same setback as the main building. And at first reading, we talked about why we have that regulation. It's really for fire safety concerns, that if you have a garage or a large storage building that's close to the main residence and it provides a greater fire hazard, and so that garage or storage building should be set back farther from the property line, much as the house has to be. If it's more than 10 feet from the main building or house, then we do allow it to be set closer to the side lot line because it's less of a fire hazard. And so we're not changing the setback requirements with this amendment tonight. No, we're just clarifying the language as how we interpret it.
Questions of Mike on item number 23? Others that wish to address the council on item number 23?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yes. Mike, just to clarify, the way I read the proposed ordinance, that first paragraph, I thought that was an addition to the ordinance.
It is a new sentence that we're adding, but again, it's just to clarify.
Because that issue hadn't been brought up, and it's not presently in the code, and so this is a new issue.
No, it isn't, because the second sentence says that detached buildings located 10 feet or more from the main building may be erected within 2 feet or more from the side and rear line. So again,
But the first paragraph says, this is the new element here, any detached accessory building located closer than 10 feet to the main building shall provide the same setbacks as the main building.
Right.
So that is new to this.
No, because we're adding this, again, to help clarify the intent. Because if you read the first sentence of the existing ordinance, it says accessory structures located 10 feet or more from the main building and setback. So again, this is just a better way of defining the current regulations.
Okay, well, I guess I read that differently, but that's okay.
Right. That's the intent.
But the fire, it doesn't make sense to me. Why, if you're within 10 feet of the main building, you have to have the same setback as the building?
Again, it's because of historically, we've worked out those regulations that if you have a large building that's close to the main residence, it presents a greater fire hazard. And that's the history.
What does it have to do with setbacks?
Because if the large garage or storage building is close to the main house, it should have the same setbacks as the house because it's more of a fire hazard. If it's more than 10 feet away, then we allow it to be closer to the side lot line because it's not as much of a fire hazard.
Yeah, I guess I won't dwell on this, but still it doesn't make sense.
Further questions? Others that wish to address the council on item number 23? Not? Is there a motion to approve?
Move to approve, Brown.
Brown moves, and Litz seconded?
Litz.
Litz seconded. Motion made, seconded. Further comments? Go ahead.
Well, I'm going to be voting against this addition because it doesn't make sense. The rest of the ordinance is simply changing some words around structure for building and adding detached a lot, which is okay. But this addition, it doesn't make sense why we should have this. It's just additional control. It doesn't make sense.
Okay, we got a motion been made, seconded.
I'd have to say that in my experience in building since 1992, that this is always the way it's been, the way Michael has described it, and I've complied by these situations ever since I've been building things, and I don't really see a change here except for the language.
If I could just respond. Bob, does it make any sense, though? I mean, you might have been doing that for a long time, but does it make sense?
Well, yes, it does, from my point of view. And there are exceptions to it, to the fire code, too. If you can provide fire restivity to the outside of the building with certain construction techniques, they'll let you move it closer. Yes, I think it's always been like that, and I think it's a good idea for fireproof.
But it doesn't have anything to do with setbacks. I mean,
got a motion been made and seconded to approve item 23. See no further comments. All in favor of the motion to approve, vote yes. Those opposed, no.
Councilors Brown?
Yes.
Costello?
Yes.
Jamison?
Yes.
Knutson?
Yes.
Litz?
Yes.
Staggers?
no.
Anderson?
Yes.
Benega?
Yes.
All members present voted. Item 23 has been approved, 7 yes and 1 no. Item 24.
Second reading, an ordinance of the City of Sioux Falls, South Dakota, amending the revised ordinances of the city by adding language for property owner notification to the rezoning procedure. The Planning Commission recommends approval.
This is a change to the zoning ordinance text that we worked with the Land Use Committee on that, again, provides a better clarification on the notification process when there's a zoning change that involves more than one property owner.
Questions of Mike on item number 24? Others that wish to address the council, go ahead.
I just wanted to comment from the Land Use Committee. We just wanted to improve our communication with the residential, in a residential neighborhood with a zoning change. And I guess you may have read it, but the Land Use Committee recommends approval.
Okay, if others that wish to address the council on item 24? Not, is there a motion to approve?
So move Anderson.
Anderson moves. Is there a second?
Second, Litz.
Litz seconds. Further comments on the motion been made? Seeing none, all in favor of the motion to approve item 24, vote yes. Those opposed, no.
Councilors Brown?
Yes.
Costello?
Yes.
Jamison?
Yes.
Knutson?
Yes.
Litz?
Yes.
Staggers?
Yes.
Anderson?
Yes.
Benega?
Yes.
All members present vote. Item 24 has been approved, 8 yes. Item 25.
Second reading, an ordinance of the City of Sioux Falls, South Dakota, rezoning property at 816 South Covell Avenue, petition number 2009-0321, and amending the official zoning map of the City of Sioux Falls. The Planning Commission recommends approval.
This is an existing residence owned by Thomas Scaff, S-K-A-F-F. This was one of 26 residential properties that were rezoned as part of the Sanford Plan Development Campus expansion to the north. And we went back after this was approved by City Council request and followed up with another notification of all the property owners to let them know that they could come back and request the zoning be reverted to the way it was before. And of the 26 inquiries that we sent out, this was the one that said that they would like to go back to the original zoning.
Questions of Mike on item number 25? Others that wish to address the council on item number 25? Motion to approve?
So moved, Litz.
Let's move.
Second, Costello.
Costello seconds. Motion made, seconded. Further comments? Seeing none, all in favor of the motion to approve item 25, vote yes. Those opposed, no.
Councilors Brown?
Yes.
Costello?
Yes.
Jameson?
Yes.
Knutson?
Yes.
Litz?
Yes.
Staggers?
Yes.
Anderson?
Yes.
Benega?
Yes.
All members present vote. Item 25 has been approved 8-0. Item 26.
Second reading, an ordinance of the City of Sioux Falls, South Dakota, rezoning property at northwest corner of West 54th Street North and North Marion Road, petition number 2009-03-13, and amending the official zoning map of the City of Sioux Falls. The Planning Commission recommends approval.
This is about an 81-acre parcel of land. It is located west of North Marion Road and north of 54th Street North. So it's the northwest corner of Marion Road and 54th Street North. The applicant is Jared Smith, representing Universal Properties. And we've been working with the applicant on a concept to establish a residential village that would also have limited commercial and office services available. And this development has gone through the City Council as a land use amendment, and this rezoning tonight is in conformance with the land use amendment. The west side of the property would be zoned for traditional single-family residential and some potential twin homes. And then the east side of the property would be a mixed-use concept that would allow office and multifamily residential, multiple-story buildings. It provides a good buffer to the north, which is ADP, and then to the south, which is another future development, which will be also kind of a mixed-use concept. And then to the east is the University Center property. So the market that they're trying to capture would be potentially students or other people that would be attending the classes up in that area. And again, the idea would be to develop this village with on-site services that people could use. And they've submitted some very preliminary architectural concepts that we're still trying to work out, but they are, the developers are really kind of embracing this idea on their own, the idea of the mixed-use land uses in the area. So there'll be about 48 acres of the development will be the mixed use, about 26 acres will be single-family, and about 5 acres will be the twin homes or fourplexes. And we also have item 30 tonight that we'll consider later on, which is the preliminary subdivision plan for this property.
Questions, Mike, on item number 26?
Mike, there's been some steady development up in that area. What do we have planned for a park up in that area? I've had a lot of calls from residents and people living up in that area.
If we look at the vicinity map, well, first of all, with this development, they are going to be developing their own private open spaces, kind of a campus concept or a village concept. But just for the general neighborhood, maybe Steve can help me identify these on the map, but east of the Green Hills development, as you get over to Career Avenue and north of Benson Road is a future neighborhood park site, if you go down towards Benson Road. And then south of Benson Road and west of Career Avenue is a 25-acre parcel that was gifted to the city a few years ago that will become Phelan Community Park area.
Okay, thank you.
So that will all be within walking distance of this area.
Further questions? Others that wish to address the council on item number 26?
Move to approve. Brown.
Brown moves.
Second, Anderson.
Anderson seconds. Further comments? Seeing none, all in favor of the motion to approve item 26, vote yes. Those opposed, no.
Councilors Brown?
Yes.
Costello?
Yes.
Jameson?
Yes.
Knutson?
Yes.
Litz?
Yes.
Staggers?
Yes.
Anderson?
Yes.
Benega?
Yes.
All members present vote. Item 26 has been approved, 8 yes. Item 27.
Second reading, an ordinance of the City of Sioux Falls, South Dakota, rezoning property at 4200 South Sycamore Avenue, petition number 2009-04-20, and amending the official zoning map of the City of Sioux Falls. The Planning Commission recommends approval.
This is a 5.3-acre parcel of land located on the east side of South Sycamore Avenue between 49th and 53rd Streets. Gary Haar, representing Eastern Hills Development, is the petitioner, and the proposed development on this site will be 2 48-unit apartment buildings and 4 4-unit multifamily buildings.
Questions of Mike on item number 27? Others that wish to address the council on item number 27? Not, is there a motion?
So moved. Let's.
I second the motion, Knutson.
Knutson second. Motion been made and second. Further comments? Seeing none, all in favor of approving item 27, vote yes. Those opposed, no.
Councilors Brown?
Yes.
Costello?
Yes.
Jameson?
Yes.
Knutson?
Yes.
Litz?
Yes.
Staggers?
Yes.
Anderson?
Yes.
Benega?
Yes.
All members present voted. Item 27 has been approved, 8 yes. Item 28.
Second reading, an ordinance of the City of Sioux Falls, South Dakota, a major amendment, petition number 2009-03-23 to Chapter 15.45.070, Planned Development Districts at 1105 West 73rd Street, amending the Diamond Valley Planned Development District sub-area regulations. The Planning Commission recommends approval.
This is a 1/2-acre parcel of land located west of South Cliff Avenue and south of 73rd Street. The Diamond Valley Development is a Dunham Company's property, and this site was originally approved as a 4-plex, and now they are proposing to construct an 8-unit apartment. We have other multifamily buildings around the area, and the recommendation is to approve this because it would still be compatible with other development around this neighborhood area.
Questions of Mike on item number 28? Others that wish to address the council on item number 28? Is there a motion to approve?
So moved. Let's.
Let's move. Second.
Second, Brown.
Brown seconds. Motion been made and seconded. All in favor of the motion to approve item 28? Will vote yes. Those opposed, no.
Councilor Brown?
Yes.
Costello?
Yes.
Jameson?
Yes.
Knutson?
Yes.
Litz?
Yes.
Staggers?
Yes.
Anderson?
Yes.
Benega?
Yes.
All members present voted. Item 28 has been approved 8-0. Item 29.
Second reading, an ordinance to authorize the issuance of special assessment bonds in an amount not to exceed $2,500,000 and to redeem bond anticipation notes issued for purposes of providing interim financing of street improvement projects.
Gene Roanhorst, Director of Finance. This is an ordinance to authorize bonds to be issued that will retire tax anticipation, bond anticipation notes being issued. These bonds and the proceeds were used to complete various projects around the city that are accessible to the adjoining landowners. And we have about $2.5 million approximately that will be used for.
Questions of Gene on item number 29? Go ahead.
Yeah, these $2,500,000 of bonds, when would we pay those off?
We don't pay them off. The landowners pay them off.
Yeah, the landowners. When would that?
5 years, I believe.
5 years. Okay, thank you.
Further questions? Item 29. Others that wish to address the council on item number 29? Not. Is there a motion?
So moved, Benega.
Benega moves. Is there a second?
Second, Jameson.
Jameson seconds. Further comments on the motion? Seeing none, all in favor of the motion to approve item 29, vote yes. Those opposed, no.
Councilors Brown?
Yes.
Costello?
Yes.
Jameson?
Yes.
Knutson?
Yes.
Litz?
Yes.
Staggers?
No.
Anderson?
Yes.
Benega?
Yes.
Item 29 has been approved, 7 yes and 1 no. Item 30.
A resolution of the City of Sioux Falls approving the preliminary plan of University Hills addition.
This is the item that we considered as item 26 for the rezoning. This is the preliminary plan of University Hills addition, again on North Marion Road and 54th Street. And the one thing that I'll point out with this preliminary plan is that it includes a combination of both public and private right-of-ways. On the west side, where there's more of the traditional single-family, will be public right-of-way. On the east side, they're proposing to have more private streets. We are looking at the possibility of diagonal parking in conjunction with this development, again, to try to encourage the village concept. And so we're working through that with city engineers and other agencies. But this preliminary plan does meet all of our requirements, and we are recommending approval of that tonight.
Questions of Mike on item number 30, Mr. Mayor?
Yeah, Mike, with the private streets, the city would not be responsible for plowing or repairing them, is that correct?
That would be correct, yes.
Okay. And then just one final question about the private streets. If they are private, why don't we let the developer go ahead and decide whether he wants to have them diagonal parking? Let them go ahead and do it.
Right, we are. This was their idea.
Okay.
Further questions?
Well, Mike, did we approve Van Buskirk with the development just to the south of this?
Yes.
Okay, very good, thank you.
Further questions? Others that wish to address the council on item number 30? None. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved, Brown.
Brown moves. Is there a second?
Second, Anderson.
Anderson seconds. Further comments? Seeing none, all in favor of the motion to approve item 30, vote yes. Those opposed, no.
Councilors Brown,
Yes.
Costello,
Yes.
Jamison,
Yes.
Knutson,
Yes.
Litz.
Yes.
Staggers.
Yes.
Anderson.
Yes.
Benega.
Yes.
All members present have voted. Item 30 has been approved 8-0. Item 31.
Report of the May 2009, of the May 29, 2009 Notice of Transfer of Appropriations within Major Organizational Units.
No action has to be taken on that, just read. Is there a motion to adjourn?
I so move Knutson.
Knutson moves. Let's second it.
I'll second that.
All in favor of the motion to adjourn, vote yes. Those opposed, no.
Councilors Brown,
Yes.
Costello,
Yes.
Jamison,
Yes.
Knutson,
Yes.
Litz.
Yes.
Staggers.
Yes.
Anderson.
Yes.
Benega.
Yes.
Stand adjourned.